morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Press Drive on I-FLIER 103.3.
Happy New Year. Time waits for no man, and you know that whatever it is you need to do, you need to start doing now. Like I always say, there is never a perfect time to start. There is never a perfect time to do that thing, start that job, start that thing you already have in mind to start, and that thing you have in mind to do in the year 2020, you have to do. Welcome to another day. Welcome to another time to look at headlines making rounds in the national dailies this morning. Welcome to Press Drive, our newspaper review program right here. Driver this morning, ESTHER ATILOLA is my name, and our analyst is right here with me in the studio. But of course, when it's time, studio lines, which I'll open when it's time. Once again, good morning and welcome to Press Drive on I-FLIER 1. I have the Punch and the Nation newspapers. I'll start with the headlines before we move to details of the stories we want to look at. I'll start with the Punch newspaper. Let's go through some of its headlines this morning. A law amended to include local governments. Algon wants FAAC law in Delta State. IG launches school safety squad in Delta State. $2 billion crude for loan. Protesters demand Mele Kyari probe. $2 billion despite VAC law amended to include local governments. 8 banks spend 4.61 trillion naira on salaries operations. 8 banks spend 4.61 trillion naira on salaries and operations. Other headlines on the Punch newspaper includes Wike's allies secure PDP control in Bayelsa and Edo State. Wike's allies secure PDP control in Bayelsa and Edo State. Olubadan blames miners for Oyo-Osun boundary crisis. Olubadan blames miners for Oyo-Osun boundary crisis. ECOWAS at 50. Tinubu lists achievements, urges stronger collaboration. ECOWAS at 50. Tinubu lists achievements, urges stronger collaboration. Zulum flags off 16 billion naira Borno flyover. Zulum flags off 16 billion naira Borno flyover. Osun renovates burnt High Court, tracks arsonist. Osun renovates burnt High Court, tracks arsonist. India offers Nigerians 250 fully funded scholarships. India offers Nigerians 250 fully funded scholarships. Away from that, Osun indigents to build Yoruba school in Ghana. Osun indigents to build Yoruba school in Ghana. NSCDC officers face probe over alleged 2.5 million naira extortion. NSCDC officers face probe over alleged 2.5 million naira extortion. Blue Line Rail records over 2 million passengers, says government. Blue Line Rail records over 2 million passengers, says government. Lagos APC charges local government chairmanship aspirants 5.5 million naira. Lagos APC charges local government chairmanship aspirants 5.5 million naira. Away from that, let's go through the last set of headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning. Rivers State, IBA seeks can support amid growing pro-Fubara protest. Rivers State, IBA seeks can support amid growing pro-Fubara protest. Alaafin condemns supremacy battle report. Alaafin condemns supremacy battle report. And finally, on the Punch newspaper this morning, no room for rascality. Niger governor orders arrest of persons with dreadlocks. No room for rascality. Niger governor orders arrest of persons with dreadlocks. And I'm seeing another story right here. Nasarawa stakeholders back federal government's proposed tax reforms. Nasarawa stakeholders back federal government's proposed tax reforms. On the Nation newspaper this morning, let's go through some of its headlines. Attackers of communities are foreigners, says governor. Attackers of communities are foreigners, says governor. Kaduna governor revokes land houses sold by El Rufai. Kaduna governor revokes land houses sold by El Rufai. Tinubu assures of federal government's commitment to end insecurity. President Tinubu assures of federal government's commitment to end insecurity. Adebayo to ex-Vice President and El Rufai. You can't hijack SDP for personal battle against Tinubu. Adebayo versus to ex-VP and El Rufai. You can't hijack SDP for personal battle against Tinubu. Bakari's spineless. Rubber stamp tag misleading, says Senate. Bakari's spineless. Rubber stamp tag misleading, says Senate. On the foreign scene, IMF cuts global growth forecast over Trump tariffs. IMF cuts global growth forecast over Trump tariffs. Pope Francis' last moment by the Vatican. Pope Francis's last moment by the Vatican. Other headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Airlifting of 53,000 Nigerian pilgrims to Saudi begins May 9th. Airlifting of 53,000 Nigerian pilgrims to Saudi begins May 9th. Federal government revamps 991 healthcare centers to rehabilitate 2,701 others. Federal government revamps 991 healthcare centers to rehabilitate 2,701 others. Presidency justifies powering State House with solar energy. Presidency justifies powering State House with solar energy. Away from that, Anele assumes command as first female army spokesperson. Anele assumes command as first female army spokesperson. Unilorin students, latest beneficiaries of OPE's 1.2 billion 10-year scholarship initiative. Unilorin students, latest beneficiaries of OPE's 1.2 billion 10-year scholarship initiative. NDDC gets kudos for developing Niger Delta. NDDC gets kudos for developing Niger Delta. And finally, on the Punch, on the Nation newspaper this morning, obedient leaders mobilize for conference. Obedient leaders mobilize for conference. Initiative hails Makinde for a good job. Initiative hails Governor Makinde for a good job. right, you can be a part of the conversation on Press Drive this morning because we're moving to details of the stories we want to look at. You can drop a comment on our Facebook page. Please like, share, follow us at I-FLIER 103.3 FM Live. At I-FLIER 103.3 FM Live. Also, you can call the studio lines which are open when it's time. Let's move to details of the stories we want to look at this morning. Joining me for analysis is Honorable Femi Debisi. Good morning and welcome to Press Drive.
Good morning, Conesta. How do you do?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
It's been a while.
It's a cool morning also.
Yeah, cool. Love it I love it that way. Good morning, Nigerians. You are welcome once again.
Thank you very much. All right, let's delve into the stories without further ado. And this headline says, because we're starting with insecurity, President Tinubu assures of federal government's commitment to end insecurity. And let me also note this, that even though we've been talking about insecurity before, on different platforms, but then it's something that is still disturbing the country, and so we'll still keep talking about it and giving updates on that particular sector. Tinubu assures of federal government's commitment to end insecurity. National Security Advisor No Ribadu, who visited Benue State in company with Senate Committee Chairman of Intelligence and Security Uba Omar, described the attacks and killings as an act of evil. What happened is a tragedy, an act of evil. It was evil that visited the state. But when evil comes, good people must unite to confront it, he said. Turning to the governor, the NSA added, and I'm quoting, "The president is with you. This is a trying period for us all. This is a moment of sorrow, and it is during such times that you know those who truly care." End of quote. Ribadu stated that the Tinubu government inherited a deeply troubled nation and was working diligently to repair the damage. Okay, and he goes on to say so many things. Let me quote this, or what he said. "Our armed forces and security agencies are doing their best, but such incidents persist because it is impossible to deploy personnel to every hamlet." Okay, that's one. Now, still on Benue State, let's put those two stories together. Attackers of communities are foreigners, says governor. Armed men who have been attacking Benue communities in the last 2 months are foreigners, Governor Hyacinth Aliyah said last night. According to him, 73 bodies were recovered in the latest round of attacks by the insurgents who swarmed Ukum, Logo, and Katsina Ala local government areas. He explained that the attackers find their way into the communities in their hundreds on motorbikes, armed with AK-47, AK-49, and machetes. The governor revealed that apart from Ukum, Logo, and the Katsina Ala local government areas, where 72 persons were killed by the invaders, 3 other councils, Kwande, Guma, and Gwa West, are now under a deadly siege. Okay? Now, according to the governor, I'm quoting him, he says, "They don't bear the Nigerian look, and they don't speak what we speak. Their Hausa is one sort of Hausa, not the normal Hausa we Nigerians speak." Okay? How people who have witnessed the attack say they are Malians and different forms of people, but they are not Nigerians. So let's put these two headlines together. Attackers of communities are foreigners, says governor. And President Tinubu, President Tinubu assures of federal government's commitment to end insecurity.
Well, you see, one thing that interests me about our president is his prowess for rhetoric, phonetic. You know, he will speak and then you want to lick his lips. Yes, but you see, he met Nigeria in this circumstance, and one of his promises is that he's going to end it. And yes, rather than ending it, the thing keep persisting. So, which calls for another kind of approach. It should not continue with the old orders, with the old kind of approach. So that's the way I say it. Well, of course, he mentioned that you don't have enough personnel, to police or secure each outlet. Yes, yes, of course, that doesn't happen anywhere in the world. I mean, you don't police every hamlet, but of course, you get the people secured as well. So how do they do that? Maybe you need to, go and study the international best practices, especially in Israel. So there are places, that are ravaged by, something worse than what we are experiencing in this country. Another thing is that he has come to a realization that, many of the bandits that are attacking our people, many of them are not Nigerians. Then what happens to our border? Yes, what's the policy that have been put in place to make sure that, the coming in and out, immigration, they are properly monitored? What happens? So if you have such a long and porous border, have we seriously taken into consideration what you call e-border patrol? That is, patrolling, via the air and the land at the same time. So, a whole lot of things can be done. Well, of course, has he ever thought? He mentioned something again that, of course, is all about all of us. Yes. Has he made an attempt to, put in place a kind of national meeting so that all of us, talk about it? Yes, of course. Has he, did the president ever taken note of the statement of the Bauchi governor? A standing invitation to all Fulanis across the world to come down to Nigeria and see Nigeria as their home. So has he ever taken, what has been the presidential action towards that? So a whole lot of things are left undone. But of course, when a president says that he assures us, assurance is still a promise. Despite that it sounds like something that is coming to real. We have been hearing that right from the inception of his administration. Assurance. But when will that assurance come into implementation? When are we going to see the result? Nigerians are dying. In fact, as at last week now, that's 3 weeks ago, as at last week, 250 people were killed in 2 states in the Middle Belt. And when you had the last 1 week, you'll be counting close to 500 people killed. Then do you want to say, do you get a president? That is a question mark. If you get one, there must be immediate action. The killing must stop because it is senseless. It is political. It has to stop.
All right, still on insecurity, and I'm seeing this on the Punch newspaper. It says, IG killings. IG deploys special anti-bandit squads nationwide. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbeto, on Tuesday deployed a special squad to arrest the rising violence across the country. He ordered all police mobile force squadrons to maintain at least one fully equipped combat-ready unit on constant standby, effective immediately. He gave the directive during a meeting with squadron commanders in Abuja on Tuesday as bandits struck in Kwara, Benue, and Sokoto State, killing 21 persons. In the past weeks, the attacks on hapless citizens have escalated, with increased attacks reported in Plateau, Benue, Enugu, and other parts of the country. Addressing his squadron commanders during the meeting, the IG stressed that the standby unit must be prepared to provide rapid support to state commands in times of crisis, high-risk operations, or emergency interventions. Killings. IG deploys special anti-bandit squads nationwide. Now, let me add this particular story with this other one so we can wrap up with insecurity. No room for rascality. Niger governor orders arrest of persons with dreadlocks. Governor Omar Bago of Niger State has directed security agencies to arrest individuals wearing dreadlocks in Minna, the state capital. Speaking at a stakeholder security meeting held at the government house on Tuesday, the governor said that the hair of such persons should be cut and fines imposed on them. He said, and I'm quoting him, "We will have zero tolerance for rascality. Anybody that you find with dreadlocks, arrest, barb the hair, and fine him." The meeting was attended by security agencies and traditional rulers. He urged parents to caution their children, saying the government would begin implementing stricter security measures. Saying, and I'm quoting, "Parents should warn their children, from this moment, it is 100% fire for fire." All right, so no room for rascality. Niger governor orders arrest of persons with dreadlocks. And of course, the other story I read earlier, killings IG deploys special anti-bandit squads nationwide.
Well, first, don't mind our dearest IGP. he's a fine, gentle policeman, and his squadron. Yes, they should be seen as working, but of course, that is just a face-saving grace. He has to be seen as working. So that is that. But is where soldiers cannot perform. I don't see how ill-equipped and largely untrained. Most of the police are largely untrained. They are not versatile when it comes to the issue of fighting and in a kind of unconventional warfare. They lack the basic when it comes to policing technologically. They lack all those things. So I don't know. I don't see what they can do anyway. Okay. So I've told you the only way out is all of us sitting down. Do we want to end it? If we all agree that we are ending it, then it has ended. Okay. It's as simple as that. But of course, this squadron, 1 million of them cannot do anything. Oh. So that's that. And our brother Bago in Niger State, yes, the rascals. Maybe he should go and check, the true meaning of rascals. Yes, there must be a dichotomy between a rascal and somebody who is guilty of obscenity. So those are obscenes. Those are the young guys whom the system are built. Bago is one of them that have built them. It is the system that built those those chaps, and of course, all those things they are doing is just a kind of coping strategy, at least to cover all their frustration and all that. But then, of course, you should leave them alone and and face very squarely the real rascals, the real bandits, the real people that are killing. Yes, I think he should face them. And not only that, he should face the people that are officially corrupt, monumentally corrupt. Those are the real rascals, the people that are truly troubling us. Maybe less attention should be paid to the guys with deadlocks. Deadlocks are everywhere, even in America and all that. So he should play less on that.
And focus more on making sure that insecurity does not persist in the state, according to you. Now let's come to politics, the Senate, away from insecurity. And I'm seeing reaction to Bakari's statements. Now, according to the Punch newspaper, the headline says Senate lambast Bakari over rubber stamp remark. On the Nation newspaper, the headline says Bakari's spineless rubber stamp tag misleading, says Senate. Okay, let me take that off the Punch newspaper. The detail says the Senate on Tuesday berated the senior pastor and serving overseer of the Global Community Citadel Church, Pastor Tunde Bakari, over his recent scathing remarks about the 10th National Assembly, saying the cleric had crossed the line. The Senate's reaction was contained in a statement issued in Abuja by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramodu Bakari, who contested the All Progressives Congress presidential ticket against President Bola Tinubu in 2022, had, during his ESTHER State of the Nation broadcast in Lagos, accused the president of reducing the 10th Assembly to a heaven for legislative rascality and likened it to the 48th member of his cabinet. He also condemned the emergency rule declared in Rivers State and criticized the National Assembly for backing it. The cleric further lamented the worsening insecurity, citing a fresh wave of killings in Plateau, Benue, and Enugu State. However, Adaramodu described Bakari's comment as sweeping, disparaging, and politically motivated. He said, and I quote, "We view his corrosive criticisms of the National Assembly as a biased and politically ecumenically homily," the statement read. The National Assembly cannot and will not be drawn into responding to issues that are already before a court of competent jurisdiction out of respect for the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary. He argued that while some may see tension between the legislature and the executive as a healthy feature of checks and balances, such friction does not necessarily translate to effective oversight. Okay, and this particular story goes on and on. But basically, Pastor Bakari has taken the heat for his statement. So Senate lambast Bakari over rubber stamp remark. What do you make of this?
But I don't think Bakari will be perturbed. Yes, I don't think so. Because basically, virtually most of his statements were substantiated in that particular speech, in that particular sermon. And of course, you agree with him in most of his statements. Well, not minding the intention anyway. Maybe he would have been, maybe he's not a fan of the current administration. That one is aside. But when you examine, most of the allegations, you find out that they were accurate. Yes, they were accurate. And Bakare will not be the first person to have directly attacked the current Senate. Yes, Obasanjo did more than that. Yes, and of course, they were unable to prove him wrong. Yeah, what they normally do is to, attack. But you don't come up with substance. Just mere attack. Adamodu would have studied Tesaro's dictionary before he wrote this particular reaction.
Ecumenically,
of course.
It's very huge.
But that is not the way it is. You can't clearly differentiate between Senate and the executive. Hardly will you be able to differentiate. Yes. Okay. Something again happened. Something serious happened last week in the United States. Yes. The IMF called a forum to examine or to appraise the economic reforms of the current administration. And rather than somebody from the executive representing the executive, it was a particular senator, Ibrahim, a member of the Senate Committee on Finance, that represented, the executive there in that particular forum. And pointedly, the IMF said that we failed woefully when it comes to the particular economic reform. So let me just, come up with few shots of what the ECOWAS said. So the ECOWAS said that
IMF.
The IMF said that our reforms lack impact on poverty. That, they highlighted that the economic reforms have not significantly alleviated poverty and food insecurity for an average Nigerian. Not only that, they said that the ongoing reform imposes what we call economic uncertainty and is exacerbating external factors, which the IMF wants could hinder the effectiveness of the reforms. So he also said that, while the IMF acknowledged the government's efforts, such as the removal of fuel subsidy, improvement of foreign exchange market, these measures have yet to translate into tangible benefits for the citizen. Are they not speaking the truth? So, and IMF warns us that we risk stability in the country. So, and come and see the reaction of our man, the senator. It was bad, He was fuming. But rather than, substantiating, rather than proving him wrong, he was getting angry. And coming back home, the presidency said that the IMF lacked knowledge about the reform that was drafted by the IMF. Remember, IMF sometimes said that, yes, the reform is working in Ghana. The reform is working in the Philippines, etc. But in Nigeria, it is not working. But of course, IMF will only want to say whatever you want them to say. So when our president, the presidency now said that, look, we don't like what you say. They say, okay, we apologize. Can you say? So now you can't differentiate between your Senate, because the Senate are the one to properly scrutinize. They are the one to sit down and reappraise the economic reform and advise, not only advise sometimes, stand their ground and demand reversal of certain aspect of the economic reform that is not working. But rather than doing that, they are the one that keep, keep defending these unworkable policies here and there. People are clearly not happy. People are clearly hungry. People are clearly unhealthy. People are clearly getting out of their sanity. Then, if that is the situation, I don't know. Because when you fail to put human being at the forefront of the indices for your economic reforms, then you are getting nothing out of it.
All right.
The figures is meant for human being and not human being for the figures. Rather than keep spending so much defending the figures and spending less to defend the welfare of human being, then the economic policy at the end of the day will not be human-centered, and the people of Nigeria will keep saying something, contrary to what the presidency might have been saying concerning their own reforms.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take more reports, more stories, and then we'll, of course, take your reactions. So please stay with us.
Unlock your child's reading potential. Introducing Bookworm Empowerment Children Literacy Center. We nurture a love for reading and learning in children for lifelong education with technology assisted in teaching learning to read and reading to learn. Expert instructors with a passion for teaching reading. Personalized reading learning plans tailored to your children's needs. Fun, interactive and engaging learning environment. Small class sizes ensure individual attention. Regular progress updates and parent-teachers conferences. Our program consists cognitive and technical reading skills, phonics, phomic awareness, fluent reading, decoding, vocabulary, comprehension. Enroll your child at this very excellent period. Contact us to register your child right now on 0802 351 9154. Address GAF Building by Keto Petrol Station, Orogun off University of Ibadan, Second Gate. Empower your child with the gift of literacy.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's come to this particular story, the protest against Mele Kyari. Now, $2 billion crude for loan. Protesters demand Mele Kyari probe. A group of protesters on Tuesday stormed the office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, to demand the prosecution of former Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari. The protesters, under the banner of Concerned Citizens Against Corruption, asked the AGF to conduct a thorough investigation into NNPCL's transactions over the past 5 years. Led by its convener, Kabir Matazu, the group expressed disappointment that despite President Bola Tinubu's removal of Kyari and the entire NNPCL board on April 2nd, 2025, no steps had been taken to investigate the alleged corrupt practices during Kyari's tenure. The group highlighted controversies surrounding the rehabilitation and recommissioning of government-owned refineries, alleging that billions of dollars were spent without transparency. Okay, they also pointed out a perplexing situation where the NNPCL is reportedly indebted to Matrix Energy to the tune of over $2 billion, with the debt being serviced through daily crude oil allocations.
All right. You want me to speak?
Of course. Let's hear your thoughts on this.
Oh God, my thought is bad.
Okay.
Well, you see, probing an NPC is like probing the presidency. I doubt if that will be coming, and if it comes at all, it's going to go the way of Mele Kyari's probe. You see, they will just keep troubling and just keep getting something, maybe something that is not even gotten eventually. So, it's going to be parabolation. Where have they headed to concerning Emefiele of Central Bank? Okay. So it's like that of, if it's going to go the way of Emefiele, at the end of the day, you get they will just get, it's going to be an arrangement, just get something to deposit, and then of course the people must see us, probing somebody. So that is exactly what is happening in the case of Mele Kyari, if eventually the government decide to
investigate. Okay.
But of course, the tenure of Mele Kyari was marked by significant controversies and allegations of mismanagement, particularly regarding financial transparency and accountability. So the ongoing call for investigation, reflect a broader demand for reforms in our oil sector. So when you talk about misappropriation, yes, I think what the people are talking about is that of Matrix Energy. Yeah, of course. They claim that
$2 billion.
We hold Matrix $2 billion and they are servicing with oil. Yes, how would they not do that? Because even our president did so. Yes, Nigeria took a loan.
Okay.
And, we are spending, 8 million barrels per month to service that particular loan. Yes. Why would they not go the same way? Because I don't know, because you have to remember that despite the fact that the federal government of Nigeria, I don't know, even if it is the federation anyway, because it's supposed to be the federation that is owing the 100% share in NNPC. NNPC is not a private company. Why will Nigerian government want to take a loan, and then it is the NNPC that that took that loan on behalf of the country. It's absurd. The economists faulted that particular arrangement. Not only that, even the head of World Bank in Nigeria faulted that particular arrangement, including our own Akenwumi of the AFDB. He said, look, you don't do that. Your national asset, your mainstay. So that is what you are putting on the line for a loan.
Like a collateral.
It's collateral now.
Oh.
You don't clearly know. In fact, it might be the loan servicing might be unending, because the more the naira falls, the more the loan that loan get prolonged and increased. So another one is the opaque way of running that particular NNPC by Emele Kyari. When I say opaque, it's like the federal government owns the share 100%. So it is the same corporation, not a company now. It's just a change of name, but not a change of the way and manner. Not a change of management, not a change of ways of running the government. So it's like they don't want an outsider to know what is wrong, what is going on. So it's a kind of esoteric and cult-like organization. So nobody is invited to know whatever that is going on in NNPC. So it's because when you get shareholders from outside, yes, if you get the larger shares from outside, it means the shareholders, they are the one to elect who is going to head that particular place. So, but they don't want things like that. It's whatever they tell us that we know. Whatever they don't tell us, we don't know. Remember, Falan also said some time ago that, out of about 36 pump head through which they pump crude into vessels, only 20 of them were metered. 16 were not metered. So you just pump anything and no record. So not only that, even the 20 that were metered, the 20 of them failed integrity test. The government attested to that, and they hired consultant to go and check it whether it failed integrity test or not. Up till now, you don't hear anything about that. So there are several areas you can keep talking. Okay, how about the humongous amount he has spent during his tenure? For the turnaround maintenance of that particular of the two or whatever, maybe all the four now. And all the four, they are not up to 1% of what Dangote is producing. It's all opaque. What has been the impact on the fuel pump price? The impact of whatever we are producing. I told our people sometime ago, I said, look, let them work. You won't see any result. Where are the results? So what we need to do is to get the NNPC truly privatized. Let investors come in. Let's get new leadership. Okay. Because the people that takes over their private concern will want profit. So they won't tolerate all these their corrupt practices there. So not only that, Mele Kyari has been unable to put an end to crude stealing. Yeah, they steal in large scale, high profile stealing. And the people that are involved, he himself cannot question. Okay. So it's like a kind of conspiracy there. So, but of course, Mele Kyari will be made to carry all the shame. But meanwhile, it is all about the presidency.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's go on another break. When we'll come back, we'll come to River State and then we'll start taking your reactions. Thank you.
My people, me and you no get electricity wahala again. OIC Solar don't make and day easy kulele. With this new kind of bonga easy life solar product, we then just carry land with the multi for Ibadan. With this them powerful solar kits, we dey for different sizes, original power stations like a 200 watts, 300 watts, 600 watts. With the inverter embedded solar kit, we get 6 brighter bulbs, an attractive solar radio within charging point. Bona fit take a charge your phones, correct solar freezer, different lithium batteries, tabula batteries, portable Android projector, different solar inverters, electric motorbike with sharp as we dey sell, we dey install. Na so we dey repair power solar system and components. OIC na the Ogbonge confirm accredited distributor for all the companies them where they produce original solar product from Obodo Yibo them, big companies, churches, mosque, event center, everybody. Waka go OIC Solar Company today for Shop C4, NTA Shopping Complex, Agodi Gate, Ibadan. Na so then they for Samsung Shopping Complex, Ekulodi Junction, New Ife Road, Ibadan. Website www.oicsolar.net. For Instagram plus TikTok, OIC Solar 1. Tulu 081 05 02 0388. Better light don't come.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Mama Gold Semolina and Supreme Semolina.
Are you looking for the best pasta and semolina brands for your family? Look no further. The gold standard of pasta and semolina, made from the finest ingredients, is here. A semolina is perfect for making delicious meals. And for spaghetti and macaroni lovers, we have Mama Pride spaghetti and macaroni, Crown Premium spaghetti, and macaroni, rich in fiber, vitamins, and made from the best nutritional ingredients. Our pasta is perfect for you. Choose the best for your family. Choose Mama Gold semolina, Supreme semolina, Mama Pride spaghetti, Mama Pride macaroni, Crown Premium spaghetti, and Crown Premium macaroni. And the best parts, Crown pasta and semolina is available at a store near you at affordable prices. Be a king and queen in your home. Always with Crown Flours.
Yes, thank you very much for staying with us. We appreciate you. Now let's take this river story very quickly. We have two of them.
Yeah.
Emergency rule, Fubara may shift ground after Tinubu's UK meeting. There are indications that suspended River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is warming up to make concessions to ease the political tension in the state. This followed Fubara's meeting with President Bola Tinubu in London during the latter's 18-day retreat in Europe. The meeting, confirmed by the Africa Report, was at the request of Governor Fubara, who first came into office in May 2023. Although the Punch could not confirm details of the meeting at press time, a senior presidential advisor told the Paris-based publication that Fubara pledged to make certain concessions in a bid to ease tensions. It is true, Governor Fubara held a private meeting with the president last week. He has promised to make some compromises. Negotiations are ongoing, but from all indications, his suspension will be lifted before the 6th-month deadline, said an advisor to the president who spoke on condition of anonymity. Now, another story, reverse. IBA seeks can support amid growing pro-Fubara protest. The sole administrator of Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, has appealed to the Christian Association of Nigeria to support efforts aimed at fostering peace, reconciliation, and stability amid the ongoing political unrest in the state. Ibas made the appeal on Tuesday during a meeting with the leadership of CAN, River State chapter at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Now, the engagement coincided with renewed protests by hundreds of supporters of suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara, who have taken to the street for the second week running to demand his restatement following the emergency rule declared by President Bola Tinubu. During the engagement, Ibas stressed the church's role in guiding moral and societal stability. So let's put these two stories together.
Well, maybe
Emergency rule Fubara may shift ground after Tinubu's UK
maybe
meeting.
Ibas and Kam first, pro Fubara too have been spending on that net. Yes, during the last Easter thing, he doled out a huge amount of money for every ward and a cow. So meaning that about close to 400 cows were bought. So likewise, Ibas too have been sponsoring, people to come on the street against Fubara. So,
Okay,
but of
so
course,
there is pro-Fubara.
yes, yes.
There, those
all
against.
those madness have been going on in River State. Why? It will keep thriving. That is the time the people get little things from those political gladiators. So they won't mind going out for them. So let's set down that side. But I see the issue of
Emergency.
Yes, the issue
meeting.
of Fubara meeting Tinubu. I
President
expected that. That is political mathematics. Yes, maybe the reign of Wike in River State is coming to an end. Yes, and its influence will be restricted to Abuja and probably a few other states in the south. Yes, where he is having a reasonable influence, by the way of his extension of legacy and support, political support. So that is, you are likely to see a kind of fight between the president and Wike before the next election, because that is not Wike want. Wike wants to be the one. In fact, when you are talking about River State, you should be talking of Wike. That is what he wants. But now, there's no way that concession will come from Fubara, that the president will not like it. Where the strength of Nigeria lies is where the oil is. And those, you are talking about the people of Fubara, the Ijos, who control, majority of that particular water and land spaces. So, so he won't want to tamper with that. He won't want to come against the Ijos. So, of course, there must be concessions. So, the two of them, by the time they agree, and then Fubara is coming back, Fubara is number one citizen there, and that is that. So, similar thing is going to happen in Kano. Remember, Kwankwanso is coming back into APC. And if it comes back into APC, it will water down the influence of Ganduje. You are also, maybe the president is also done with Ganduje. He has enjoyed the government, reasonably anyway. Maybe he should just step aside. It might even be traded with another chairman from the Middle Belt, because knowing fully well that the corners are likely to come against Tinubu, but the Middle Belt, yes, the president is likely to bank on for more votes. So all those are political mathematics, but let's keep our fingers crossed.
All right, this is the point or the time to take your reactions, our dear listeners. 0705 500 1033, 0905 444 1033, 0705 500 1033, 0905 444 1033. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
My name is Caleb Alabi from Abaka Sheboru.
It's good to have you.
I just want to comment on the statement credited to IG, who said that henceforth the mobile police attached to the PIP should be withdrawn. From my point of view, they have been saying this a time without number. It doesn't hold water. I want to ask you for DBC, is there any token being paid by this PIP to the government cover? If it's so, the thing cannot stand. Because the rate of police to 1,000, I don't know the number now, maybe four police to 2,000 Nigeria. It's not enough. We need more police. All this security attached to PIP should be withdrawn. Secondly, on the 5.5 million naira session form by the Lagos